Roar!
Kiss by Wire by Bachiavellian. The phone wasn't supposed to ring. Ditsy distinctly remembered the stallion saying so back a few months ago when all the busy-looking ponies came to install Pony&Wolf's own very first telephone switchboard here in the post office. Yes, she was sure of it now. She remembered seeing the phone in question being wired into her desk and nervously telling the handy pony that she wasn't a switchboard operator. He had a big, puffy beard and was really patient and nice. Something that Ditsy would always appreciate a whole lot. When she had asked, he tapped at his clipboard and told her that this phone, with its extra long cable and its complicated looking wiring, was something called an auxiliary line, and that her desk in the middle of the room was the best place for it. He explained how every pony could send calls from it if the main switchboard broke. Also that it wouldn't ring. In fact, it shouldn't receive calls at all. She had made sure he was very clear about that. A girl had to have a healthy fear of unexpected responsibilities after all, right? And now, despite it all, the blasted thing had the audacity to ring, sitting muffled underneath 3 months' worth of papery office litter. It began moments after Ditsy sat down at her desk for her early morning shift, as if the darn contraption had been waiting for her. This was not the kind of start Ditsy would have chosen for her birthday. Everyone knows that from sun up to sundown, a pony's birthday is a near sacred thing. Old nags like to say how any kind of misfortune during the day made for abysmal luck for the rest of the year. Ditsy wasn't a very superstitious mare, but just a few minutes before sunrise, things weren't looking so great. The only other pony clocked in this early was the office's front desk secretary. It kind of made it all worse. There was just Ditsy and Miss Neatly sitting at their own desks in a big, empty room with an incessantly ringing phone in the middle of it. The pre-dawn light streaking in from a low angle through the window actually made the bags under Miss Neatly's eyes look deeper and darker. She looked terrifyingly cross. After making a little show of pretending to notice the phone, pointing at it, and giving a few shrugs that said, "Oh, this thing?" Ditsy awkwardly picked up the receiver, all the while withering under her co-worker's demonic pre-coffee glare.
"Hello? This is Ditsy,
she said.
"How can I help you this morning?"
She quickly added, imitating the way she had seen switchboard mares answer calls.
"Ditsy, is that... Oh, well, it is, isn't it?"
came a stallion's voice, rushed and bumbling.
"Goodness, I've gone and messed it all up already, but that's alright. I'm a secret admirer of yours, and I noticed it was your birthday today."
Ditsy squinted and pressed the receiver up against her ear harder. That voice of his.
"Time Turner? Is that you?"
What? Oh, no, of course not. I've never heard of them. I'm a secret admirer. The intention being that you definitely, for certain, have never, ever heard of me."
Rolling her eyes, she replied.
"We've been friends since forever. I think I can recognize your voice. Though I didn't know you, admired me."
A tinge of warmth spread across her cheeks at the thought.
I guess I do, but really don't know who this Time Turner fellow is."
The stallion lied.
"Definitely sounds like a nice sort of guy if I should ever, meet him."
Ditsy glanced around the office. There was a strange sort of echo in the call. She didn't know if this was normal or not on the phone. Straining, she could almost imagine it coming from that window next to Miss Neatly's desk.
"Turner, I think it's super sweet that you remembered today,"
she said, picking up the phone and walking to the window. The extra long cord trailed behind her.
"But I really have to know, how in the question did you call this phone? It isn't supposed to be hooked up to anything."
Well, secret admirers have got secrets, you know. That's the appeal of us. We are all mysterious and, attractive that way, you know.
The blush in his cheeks was perfectly audible. She said. The echo was definitely clearer here. Ditsy smiled. Half listening to Turner's babbles, she trotted to the office's entrance. The trailing wire from her phone swept around, knocking this and that off of Miss Neatley's desk. Ditsy silently mouthed out desperate apologies. Tomorrow she'd definitely need a double batch of Miss Neatley's favorite banana muffins to make up for this. As Ditsy stepped out of the building and turned towards its outer east wall, her phone ran out of cord. She let it drop. It was easy to hear Turner from here anyway. There he sat, next to the little blue box of a shed that held all of the circuits and wires for the building's switchboards. A mess of knotted cords ran from the phone in his hoof to the tangled heap of wires that must have fallen from its rack in the shed. Turner's free forehoof was circling through his mane like a runner doing laps at a track, a nervous tick that gave his hair its perpetually messy look. He was still babbling on in that way of his, noticing neither Ditsy's approach nor the increasingly alarming state of his short, ruffled mane. His hoofs shook with an anxiousness that put bubbly giggles in Ditsy's throat as he tried to salvage the conversation he thought he was still having. It was at that moment that Celestia's sun decided to finally peek out from between the faraway hills. Deep orange sunlight wove its way through the spring green leaves on the trees in the yard and warmed Ditsy's face.
Just on time,
thought Ditsy Do with a grin. Walking briskly forward with a confident sway of her hips, she decided that her first present today would be a kiss. Hello everyone, this is Visual Pony from Pony&Wolf Productions, and I thank you for taking the time out of your day to listen to this video. At this point, I want to thank all of our amazing patrons on Patreon for supporting this channel with their monthly donations and keeping the lights on around here. Now, more than ever, it is important that you support your favorite content creators, because due to YouTube's new content policy changes, we, along with other content creators, had to demonetize a lot of our most profitable videos. For us, those are the Fallout Equestria stories. As you can see on the graph on screen right now, our earnings per video used to be relatively okay. Even though the earnings were never enough for a viable career, it was enough for a good, decent side income. Now we are struggling to pay our bills. If you want to support us for as little as $1 a month, you can do so by clicking on our Patreon link down in the description below. And you can get wonderful perks like, for example, early access to all of our stuff. Sometimes things like this are recorded months in advance. Voice acting lessons from me or Midnight, if you really want to. And you can join our Patreon Discord server. Even though it may look like there's not much going on in there, I am actually checking it on the daily. Thank you for listening to this message, and I wish you a wonderful, wonderful day.